3 months ago, I bought these AirPods, and now I'm actually listening to music less. We're gonna be talking about all that and more, but first, coffee. Now today's coffee, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, even though there's not very much of it left, you can see there's not very much of it left, is Tanzania Asante. Now if I'm not mistaken, actually Tanzania Asante was actually the first coffee that I ever made on this channel on the coffee series, so it's actually kind of come full circle now. And actually because there's not very much left, today's going to be a very sort of mini coffee, so I've got my little mini coffee cup. What I really want to talk about today is AirPods, and the reason I bought them actually, because actually I bought an iPhone 7, which is what we're recording with today, but I actually didn't think that I wanted AirPods. I thought, this is going to fall out of my ears, this is not what I want. Even if you attach a string to these, so if you got like these AirPods out of this case, even if you put a string on them so that when they fall out, they still kind of get caught on your neck. The thing is, when you put them back in the case, like this, you would actually have to take them off that string. Hold on a second. Alright, so having some issues with these AirPods, I kept flicking it open and close and it was activating Siri on the phone, which is what I'm using to record this right now. After spending a very long time thinking, this is absolutely not the product for me. I thought, it's silly that you have to buy these wireless headphones. It was kind of a principle thing. When the iPhone 7 came out and they were like, we're getting rid of the headphone jack, so you have to buy our wireless headphones. I was like, ugh, I'm justly opposed to such nonsense. And then a year and a half later, I went to England and I kind of got stuck there because my doctor said I might have a procedure like about a week later or a month later. He didn't really know. Anyway, I'm gonna go into that, but first, let's grind! My doctor had said to me, you need to stick around for a bit longer because we're gonna have more scans, we're gonna maybe have more operations on your brain, all sorts of stuff like that. And I was like, look, I'm supposed to be back in Japan and at work in about a week and a half, so I guess I'll just do what you say. And I thought, time for a bit of retail therapy. So I went out to the shops, I went to the Apple store where I had actually bought a pair of these before as a gift, but this time I was like, time to buy a gift for myself. And actually when I bought them as a gift for someone else, that's when I realized, hey, just flicking this open and then like suddenly it magically appears on your iPhone screen. It's like, did you just turn on some AirPods? I was like, why yes I did. And that's part of the Apple magic, you know, sort of, it just works. With AirPods, because Bluetooth is usually such a nightmare, something that actually should be very simple, pair them, use them. Because Bluetooth actually isn't the promised technology that we were hoping it would be. Of course, it's massively advanced and there's like multiple versions of it now and it's so much further ahead than it was when we first got Bluetooth. But when Apple said, hey, now we're gonna try wireless headphones, we're gonna put this new W1 chip in them, I was like, look, you're not going to fix this wireless headphone situation. But actually, my opinion massively changed. Because I hooked them up to my iPhone, and how do I explain this? Because I was using them mainly at home, the fact that they might fall out of your ears wasn't an issue for me. I just put them in my ears, I was listening to music on my devices wirelessly, which is massively different because now I can actually plug my headphones into my iPad. Usually if I were plugged into my iPad and it was sat in front of me, you know, I'm stuck to it. If I wanted to go wash my hands, I just take it off. If I need to go to the toilet, I need to take my headphones off. If I need to go and cook something, I got to take my headphones off. But now, I can bring my iPad, put that there while I'm cooking, and it's seamless. I can watch like 10 minutes of an episode of something on Amazon Prime, and then when I need to go and start cooking, I'll be able to just pick it up, put it on the microwave, because that's just where I cook. I can just be cooking, and I can still listen to the music, and I've not missed a second of whatever program I was watching. It's all very seamless, and that's what this has done. It has become very seamless. However, there is this one thing, and it's the fact that I've actually stopped listening to music. Well, not stopped entirely, but I'm actually listening to music a whole lot less than when I was using my normal headphones and the lightning to headphone jack adapter. But that's ready now anyway. I'm gonna point the camera down so we can actually make some coffee. Alright, so here's the thing about the AirPods. And it was one of my worries and concerns before, but I didn't realize how big a problem it was going to be. And it's the fact that AirPods fall out of your ears. And actually, the truth be told, they've never once fallen out of my ears because I'm so paranoid about them falling out of my ears that I spend literally 30%, maybe 40% of my brain power, because clearly I don't have a lot to go around, thinking about whether I've actually put them into my ears or not. So you'll see me constantly, you know, pressing in on my ears. I'm like tapping them into my ears to make sure that they're still there, that they're still snug, because I'm just worried that if they fall off and, you know, bound off into the train tracks, I'll never get them back. And they're quite expensive. This is not just a cheap pair of wireless headphones that you can go and replace if one of them disappears. I think you probably have to go and just buy a whole new set of AirPods. But I spend a huge amount of my time just thinking about whether they're stuck into my ears. And because I'm kind of annoyed about that, I'm like 70% enjoying my music and 30% just worrying about my headphones. I'm like constantly just putting these away back in the case. So when I get off the train, I'm about to get off the train and it's a, you know, rush hour, it's really busy. You know, I'll open this up, put the headphones back in the case, close it, and then I'll walk and it'll be silent. But the thing is, that's actually been quite a good thing for me. And the reason is, a lot of the time I was listening to music just because I'm used to it. I always listen to music. But the truth is, now I'm actually kind of listening to my surroundings more, understanding more about what's around me, and becoming a little bit more aware of what's around me, and discovering a lot of things that I never would have done if I had been listening to music. And this has ended up really, really fast because there is literally there were literally no beans to start with. Tanzania Asante. Alright, let's try this Tanzania Asante. Let's see if it tastes anything like I remember. I haven't watched the previous video, so I don't remember what I said about it before. Ooh. I had to sort of double check, but it certainly had a bit more chocolate going. I don't know if that's just because someone told me that there's a lot of chocolate flavor going on here, or if I just noticed it now, but it definitely feels like a sort of dry, dark chocolate. 100% would buy this coffee again. Not sure I can say the same about AirPods. Now, I appreciate that as a result of buying AirPods, I'm actually listening to music less. let me show you exactly what I do. I'll have them in my ears like this, and I'll like push them in like really snug to make sure that they don't fall out. And then when I get to the train station, you can see I'm like shaking pretty hard, but they're not falling out. But this is not what makes them fall out. What falls out is your feet make impact with the ground. And that causes a shock to kind of go up your entire body. And it's that shock, and I don't want to hit my head too hard because, you know, brain surgery. Every footstep, every footfall is causing them to slightly come looser and looser, and as they feel like they're coming a little looser and looser and looser, you start to be like, oh, now I'm kind of worried that they're gonna fall out, so you just take them out, and you end up putting them in the case, and you're like, look, I'll just put them back on if I manage to sit down. But obviously in Tokyo, there's almost nowhere to sit on the trains ever. I mean, if you're traveling during rush hour. And so I'm kind of grateful in some ways, because as a result of not listening to music all the time, I'm able to get a better sense of the places I walk through. Like when I walk through a neighborhood, I feel this immense calm in Tokyo. It's like, Tokyo is what they call a concrete jungle, and at the same time, it's incredibly peaceful. And something about the cars, like all the cars in Japan are electric now, I think. Well, no, they're not electric, but they're hybrid. There's so many hybrid cars that you really can't hear cars that drive past you. And especially, this is especially scary when you're on a bike, and suddenly you just look to your right and there's like a Prius, like right there. And they're not all incredible drivers in Tokyo, so it can be a little scary. There are, you know, downsides and upsides to this as a cyclist. But just walking around town, I just feel like this is the sound of this area, or this is a really lively area, or I can hear like the grannies and the grandpas bickering over, you know, what fruit they should buy on their morning stroll. It's quite sweet, really. But, you know, you hear people having little conversations, and you get a sense of life that you don't really get so much. When I used to live, like when this channel first began, I was still living out in the countryside, and there was really nothing to hear except the sound of cicadas and nature. And you know, there is value and beauty in it. But in the city, there's a huge variety of quiet areas that actually, you know, have a bit of farming going on, but also areas that are massively like neon lights and sound and music, and sometimes there's like a truck that drives past with nothing but advertising. It's literally like a monster truck, and its only reason for being is just to advertise some sort of telephone cabaret club. You just never really know what they're trying to sell. But I love hearing all of that, and I used to walk around with big over-ear headphones, just drowning out everything that was around me. And it occurred to me that yes, we have this great iPod culture where it's cool to always be listening to happening tunes and having like a soundtrack to your life and feeling like you're living a film every now and then. But honestly, one of the things I'm most grateful for the past 3 months is how AirPods have actually encouraged me to listen more to the world around me. I'm not saying that I would prefer to be listening to less music. I actually wanted to be listening to as much music as I used to. I was like, if I'm going outside, okay, headphones on, start the music before I even get outside, and then go for my walk, or maybe go to work. I arrive at work and I have not taken my headphones off once. But with AirPods, it happens at least 3 or 4 times when I'm changing trains, even when I'm just walking down paths, if I'm going down escalators or I'm walking past areas where I think the AirPods could fall off and into the train tracks, I worry about losing them, and so I'll take them out. But if we're not talking about walking around places with AirPods, if we're talking about just being at home, these are amazing. In my opinion, they have literally amazed me. I've taken them out and used them in situations where I've thought, wow, I really don't think I could go back to wired headphones again after this. And I've had wireless headphones before, but the way that AirPods work is very, very different. First of all, I have an Apple TV, and so when I'm watching something on Apple TV, you just flick down on the Apple TV remote, you know, you just swipe down and just change it from speakers to AirPods. Boom, now you're watching a TV program, you're not bothering anyone else if they're trying to sleep on time, and you know, you're like me, you're drinking coffee at like midnight and you're staying up till 3 AM watching stuff. AirPods makes it so much more cohabitable, makes it easier to live with other people, especially when my family was taking care of me in England. It was like, I've got the TV on, but other people need to go to work while I'm supposed to be resting because I'm supposedly, you know, unwell and I'm going back to hospital soon. I'm not now, but at the time I was going back to hospital soon, and so, you know, I'd be staying up late watching TV. And suddenly, these are really wonderful, because you can relax and watch your TV programs at night. You can be watching your big 40, 50, 60-inch TVs, and you can be listening at maximum volume with super epic sound from, you know, movies of whatever you're watching. It feels like you don't have to have the volume low just because it's late at night. Changes the sort of home cinema experience. Now, of course, I'm not saying that you should go out and buy these if you want to replace your 7.1 surround sound system. Obviously, that's not what this is designed to replace. But there is massively a place for devices that help you enjoy things more flexibly. So listening to loud music at night, or listening to music while you're cooking, or continuing watching a podcast or YouTube video or any kind of like tournament. It could be a live stream, like because of live streams these days. Now it's almost like videos are taking control of when we watch our devices, and so before, when we used to be able to just watch things later because no one had it live, now stuff is live and it's just like, you gotta watch it live. There's so many things that I want to watch live. And just drag it over with me, put it next to the stovetop, and be cooking along with my music. And it's so much easier because I don't have to unplug and re-plug in, or I don't have to plug it in with a really long cable and be worried that if I accidentally yank it, my iPad's gonna fall off the microwave and smash the screen on the ground when it hits it. AirPods. How would I review them after 3 months? There are still some things that I dislike, and one of them is that I never know where this is. If you drop it like this and it gets lost in the couch, you may never find it ever again. Kind of looking looking down, you're using the toilet, you're doing your business, and then plop, it falls into the water. There's like so much more fear in my life as a result of having AirPods. Fears that I didn't have to worry about before, but now I feel kind of tense when I get off the train, if I go to use the toilet, if I go to wash my hands, if I go anywhere that involves movement. I get kind of worried about these, and they're kind of expensive. I don't want to replace them because I'm not made of money. Yeah, it helps to have a YouTube channel because you can buy things, and it kind of helps to have new stuff to unbox and show people who want to decide whether they want to buy something. Sure, it helps, but that doesn't mean I'm made of money. I can't just replace my AirPods like that, you know, it's not... What I'm trying to say is they're expensive. But the plus sides have been so great that it's been absolutely worth it, in my opinion. I think that the sound quality is actually quite high. I don't feel like I'm missing a huge number of frequencies. I will edit videos using my AirPods, and then I'll check on my high quality earphones or my speakers or even on laptop speakers. And I'm gonna be honest, the sound is not that different. Would I use these to monitor YouTube edits? Absolutely. But what's really great about these is also that I've been able to use them at work. And I've got them synced to my Mac at work. I'll arrive at the studio, click the Bluetooth icon, and I'm synced with my thing. I don't have to repair, I just say connect to AirPods and I'm connected. Then I'm listening to music. And especially when I've got like a translation issue, right? I'll be like, what on earth is that guy saying? Just take one AirPod out, pass it to someone, and they could be across the room, and now they can listen to the exact same audio that I'm listening to at exactly the same time that I'm listening to it, and they can help me with translation things. I take the AirPod back, put it back in my ear, and I'm good to go. I can go over to another Mac, and can say connect there, I can say disconnect on that Mac, I can go connect it to my iPhone, listen to some music, and go for a walk down to the convenience store. You don't ever have to take them out of your ears. It's only that I'm still kind of fearful that I'm gonna lose them. If I were to suggest to Apple things that they could do to increase sales of a product like this, or even if they don't really care about increasing sales, they just want to improve the product, here are a few things that would make me happier. Once you attach any attachments to it, so little things that change the shape of it to actually fit your ears, if you had little gummy little covers that actually help them slide into your ear and stick there, then they need to have the space to go into this case with that gummy attachment accessory still attached to it. That is one of my biggest problems with this. If they were more secure in my head, because I'm gonna be honest, they do fall out. I haven't lost them outside, but that's just because I'm really, really, really careful. But I want to be 100% enjoying my music, not 70% enjoying my music. Literally it is 30% panic about losing these expensive devices that may fall out of my ears. That is all for today, ladies and gentle people. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, that would be awesome. Don't forget to bookmark this playlist if you want to be sure that you always see all the while I'm making coffee videos. A lot of the times I will launch a video and it will not say while I'm making coffee in the title, just because the title just ends up really, really long. And I much prefer to have short titles that are easy to read. Usually after 1 day or after 2 days, I'll add as a sort of subtitle while I'm making coffee. Don't forget to comment, like, share the links and all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next NihongoGamer video.